Have you ever noticed that the voice inside your head is the one that decides whether you move forward or stop yourself? In real life, you are strong, but on the inside, there are moments when you say things that make you weaker. I am not good enough. I am about to fail. I am not sure I can do it. This is the paradox of the modern human being. You are disciplined with your work, but careless with your thoughts. You manage your time, but you do not manage the voice that is pulling you down. You want to go far, but you cannot escape yourself. And the truth is this: it is not the world that is exhausting you. It is your own self-talk, draining your motivation every day. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Your mind will become strong when you choose strong thoughts, but nobody teaches you how to choose. Nobody teaches you how to change the voice inside. Nobody teaches you the language of a warrior." This video will do that. You are about to discover 10 Stoic rules to reprogram your inner voice so that every time you speak to yourself, you become steadier, calmer, and sharper. You will learn how to stop believing thoughts that have no evidence, separate yourself from negative inner chatter, shift from a victim into a warrior, trigger a powerful state with just one sentence, and most importantly, turn your mind into your strongest ally. This is not just a technique, this is a ritual. This is the first step to joining the top 1% who are disciplined with their mind. But before we go into each rule, I want to ask you one question. Are you tired of letting your thoughts control you? If the answer is yes, then from this moment forward, you will no longer talk to yourself like a failure. You will speak like a warrior standing in the middle of his journey. Right now, do your first micro action. Sit up straight, open your chest, take a deep breath in for 4 seconds. Feel the energy shift. That is the moment you take command of your inner world. Epictetus said, "You are the observer of your thoughts, not their servant." And this will be the foundation of your entire journey. If you are ready to begin this transformation, leave one affirmation in the comments to activate your new mindset. Drop this: I control myself. That is your promise. That is the spark that awakens the warrior within. And it is the first step in the 60-minute journey that will help you become a stronger, wiser, and unshakable version of yourself. Get ready. We begin. There is something very few people ever realize. Your mind is not your enemy, but if you let it run on its own, it becomes the biggest resistance in your life. Your brain produces tens of thousands of thoughts every day. Most of them are simply repeats from the days before, and most of them lean negative because the brain is wired to focus on fear and danger. This is an ancient survival mechanism, but in the modern world, it does not protect you anymore. It makes you feel weaker, slower, and less decisive. The Stoics understood this very early. They did not try to shut down their thoughts. They learned to observe and direct them. Epictetus said that human beings are not hurt by events. We are hurt by the story we tell ourselves about those events. This means your emotions do not come from circumstances. They come from the narrative you create in your head. If that story is weak, you become weak. If that story is strong, you become strong. When you change the way you talk to yourself, you change the entire experience of your day. This is the first foundation of mental discipline. The mind does not grow strong on its own. The mind only grows strong when you train it every day. Just like a muscle, if you do not train it, it becomes chaotic and rebellious. When you face difficulty, you have two choices. One is to tell a story that discourages you. Two is to tell a story that keeps you standing and moving forward. The event does not change, but you get to choose the perspective. Marcus Aurelius said that life is shaped by the thoughts you choose each day. This is simple, but incredibly powerful. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the world, but you always have the power to control the thoughts passing through your mind. In modern life, the mind is easily pulled by noise. Social media makes you compare, work makes you stressed, money makes you anxious, negative comments make you doubt yourself. If you do not have a clear set of rules for your mind, you will be dragged around by your emotions every single day. The Stoics did not allow that to happen. They used self-talk as a tool to reshape their emotions and actions. They saw thoughts as flowing water. If you do not guide it, it destroys everything. But if you guide it correctly, it becomes a powerful force. You can start directing your mind today, but to do that, you need a clear system. You need strong principles that give you a solid mental foundation. That is why we're about to enter the most important part, the 10 Stoic rules to reshape your self-talk. Before we dive into them, do one small practice now. Sit up straight, place your hand on your chest, take a deep breath in, and breathe out slowly. Then repeat silently one sentence. I command my mind. The sentence activates the inner commander in you. When you repeat it, your brain receives the signal that you are returning to the seat of control. You will realize something important after hearing the setup. You are not as weak as you once thought. You have just been speaking to yourself in a way that did not help you rise. From this moment forward, every thought you choose will have intention. You will not drift anymore. You will direct. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a fortified mind protects you from all external chaos. Not because the world changes, but because you change your ability to face the world. When you build a solid foundation, every challenge becomes lighter, every decision becomes clearer, every step forward becomes steadier. You will discover that real strength is not in the body. It is in the ability to command your thoughts. This is why you are here on this journey, to open the door to the elite warrior version of yourself. A version that does not tremble under pressure, does not break under criticism, does not sway under circumstance. A version that knows exactly what it wants and what it says to itself every day. If you are ready for the transformation, leave one strong affirmation. I command my thoughts. That is the opening oath for the 10 rules that will reshape your entire inner world. Rule number 1, verify your thought before you believe it. There is a reason many people collapse even when they have ability. They believe every thought that appears in their mind. The mind says they are not good enough. The mind says they will fail. The mind says they have no chance, and they accept it as truth. But what you must understand is this: the mind is not always accurate. It exaggerates fear, reduces your capability, and magnifies difficulty. The mind tells you to stop not because you are weak, but because it is trying to protect you from something that has not even happened yet, and this overprotection creates imaginary limits. Marcus Aurelius said that the mind grows strong when you choose strong thoughts. This means you must examine each thought before letting it influence your emotions. Nobody can verify your thoughts for you. You must do it yourself. If you do not verify your thoughts will control you. Think about all the times you missed opportunities because of one sentence your mind threw at you. You wanted to go to the gym, but your mind said everyone would stare at you. You wanted to apply for a better position, but your mind said you were not qualified. You wanted to start a project, but your mind said nobody would care. You did not lose opportunities because you were incapable. You lost them because you trusted unverified thoughts. The Stoics did not trust every thought they had. They questioned them, they examined them, they dissected them. Epictetus emphasized that you must stand in the position of the observer. You observe your thoughts the way you observe a stranger. You do not merge with them. You look at them, analyze them, and decide whether they have value. When a negative thought appears, the Stoics do not react automatically. They ask 4 simple questions. First, is this absolutely true? Second, is there clear evidence? Third, does this thought make me stronger or weaker? Fourth, if a close friend were in this situation, what would I tell them? These 4 questions are the filter that shows you what is truly happening. They separate you from fear, and they help you talk to yourself with clarity. When you use this filter, you will be shocked to discover that most negative thoughts are just automatic reactions of the mind. Take a modern example. When you read a negative comment online, your mind instantly creates the story that you are being judged or disrespected. But if you pause and verify, you will see that the comment is just a string of words. Its meaning is something you added. And when you change your interpretation, the comment loses its power. Or in your job, when you face a difficult task, your mind sends warning signals. It tells you to avoid it. It makes you procrastinate. But when you verify the thought, you realize the task is not as hard as your mind described. The hardest part is always the beginning, and the beginning is delayed not because the task is large, but because your thoughts made you afraid of it. People who have discipline of the mind all do one thing: they do not trust their first thought. They verify it. They choose the thought that empowers them. They reject the thought that weakens them. And because of that, they move faster than most people. Now do one simple micro action. The next time a negative thought appears in the next few hours, pause for 1 second and ask, is this completely true? When you ask that question, you take back control. You are no longer dragged around by your mind's first reaction. This rule is the foundation of the entire system. If you do not verify your thoughts, emotions will control you. But when you stand as the verifier, every emotion becomes lighter. You become strong because you are aware. You become calm because you are clear. And you move forward because you are no longer led by incorrect thoughts. And to end this rule, leave one strong affirmation to lock in the warrior mindset. I verify my thoughts. Rule number 2, separate yourself from the voice in your head. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that their thoughts are who they are. When the mind creates a negative sentence, you immediately believe that it is your true nature. When the mind exaggerates fear, you believe that you are weak. When the mind predicts a bad outcome, you believe that your future is dark. But the truth is not like that. You and your thoughts are two different things. You are the observer. Thoughts are only signals. If you do not separate these two, you will be pulled into an endless spiral of anxiety. Epictetus taught that thoughts are like guests visiting the house of your mind. Guests can say many things, but you are the one who decides who gets to stay. No one can force you to believe a sentence that does not fit you. Only when you make your thoughts equal to your identity do you fall under their influence. The dangerous part is that the mind can speak in a very convincing voice. It talks as if it is telling the absolute truth. It uses your tone. It makes you confused and believe that this is you. And when you do not recognize this, you start living according to distorted self-talk. Look at familiar situations in modern life. You enter a new job and your mind says you are not capable enough. You face a challenge and your mind says you will fail. You start a project and your mind says nobody cares. These sentences echo in your head and make it hard for you to see that they are only thoughts, not facts. The Stoics were very clear about this. They did not let automatic inner chatter define who they were. They knew that thoughts come from many sources. They can come from old memories. They can come from yesterday's anxiety. They can come from fears learned from someone else. But no matter where they come from, they held on to one principle: I am not my thoughts. When you separate yourself from your thoughts, you create space to observe. This space is your power. It gives you time to see what is really happening. It gives you a wider perspective. It stops you from reacting impulsively. And most importantly, it helps you choose the most appropriate response. Here's another easy example. On social media, you see a beautiful image and your mind instantly creates a comparison. It says that you are not attractive enough, not talented enough, or not successful enough. But if you separate yourself from the thought, you will see clearly that this feeling is just an automatic reaction. There is no solid proof that you are less than anyone. The thought is only replaying an old pattern. And when you look at it from a distance, the negative emotion drops almost immediately. People who have mental discipline use a simple technique. They do not say, I am anxious. They say, my mind is creating a feeling of anxiety. They do not say, I cannot do this. They say, my mind is suggesting this idea. This way of speaking creates a clear boundary. It keeps you in the position of commander, not a victim of your thoughts. When you use this separated language, you will feel that your thoughts lose half of their power. They no longer pull you down so easily. You can look at them and decide calmly. You choose what benefits you. You release what does not help you. You stop living by automatic inner chatter. You start living by your own clarity. Try a micro action right now. Recall the recent negative thought. Instead of saying, I am like this or I am like that, change it to, my mind is saying this. You will feel the shift. It is like stepping one step back and seeing the whole picture. You are no longer sucked into the storm of emotion. You stand firm. You keep control. This is why this rule is extremely important. If you become one with your thoughts, you will be swept away. But if you see thoughts as visiting guests, you always have the right to decide. You are not everything you think. You are the one who chooses what is allowed to define you. To close this rule, leave a powerful affirmation in the comments to strengthen your mental resilience. I am not my thoughts. Rule number 3, Shift from emotional language to action language. One reason your mind becomes heavy is that you talk to yourself in a way that makes you weaker. You use emotional, vague, and directionless sentences. When you are tired, you say that you have no energy left. When you are worried, you say that you cannot handle it. When you face a challenge, you say that you have no idea where to start. Your mind hears these lines every day, and it starts to believe that you are truly weak. The Stoics did not speak to themselves that way. They did not let emotions lead. They let action lead. Seneca said that action is the strongest medicine for fear. When you take action, negative thoughts decrease. When you stay still, negative thoughts grow. The important thing is that you change how you talk to yourself. You do not use sentences that make your emotions spin out of control. You use sentences that make you more proactive. Action language is lighter, clearer, and less controlled by mood. It brings your mind back to a calm and focused state. Everyday life gives very clear examples. When you are about to do something difficult, your mind usually says that you cannot do it. If you accept that sentence, you stop. But if you change it to, I will do this step by step, the feeling is completely different. One sentence pulls you down. One sentence lifts you up. At work, when you face a packed schedule, your mind says that everything is too much. But if you change it to, I will handle one task at a time, your pressure drops immediately. Action language shrinks the problem. Emotional language makes the problem expand. When you feel insecure, your mind sends the message that you are not capable enough. But if you change it to, I am training this skill, your mind shifts into learning mode. Learning is a positive state. Judgment is a negative state. The difference comes from the sentence you choose. A familiar example is training your body. When you are exhausted, your mind says that you cannot continue. But if you change it to, I will complete one more minute, your body reacts differently. A small action creates a big sense of control. Action language does not demand perfection. It simply demands that you move. People with mental discipline always choose words that have a clear purpose. They do not say, I have no idea what to do. They say, I am looking for the best way to do this. They do not say, I am too tired. They say, I will take 1 minute to reset my breathing and then continue. They do not say, I'm not capable. They say, I am building this capability day by day. When you change your language, you change your physical state and your posture becomes straighter, your breathing becomes steadier, your energy becomes clearer. Language is not just sound, it is a signal sent to your entire nervous system. The Stoics understood this deeply. They used language as a tool to train the mind. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that whatever is within his control must be handled with action, not complaining, and whatever is not in his control should not be repeated in his head too many times. Clear language keeps the mind from drifting with emotions. To apply this rule, you can start with a small micro action. In the next few hours, pay attention to any emotional sentence that appears. The moment you hear something like, I cannot do it, or I am afraid, change it to, I will begin with the smallest step. The moment you change the words, your body changes its state. You open the door to action instead of paralysis. There is an important question you must ask yourself. Does what I'm about to say make me stronger? If the sentence does not create action energy, change it. You do not need beautiful phrases, you need words that move you forward. Strong people are those who choose language that guides them through fear. When you live by action language, your mind becomes more organized. You're not drowned by emotion. You're not pulled backward by worry. You focus on each step, each task, each small movement. And those small movements are exactly what lead to big changes. To close this rule, write down one strong sentence to reinforce your new habit. I take action, even when I am not perfect. Rule number 4, speak to yourself with the voice of a teacher, not a critic. One of the quiet forces that erodes your mental strength is the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. When you are wrong, you attack yourself harshly. When you are slow, you call yourself useless. When you face difficulty, you tell yourself it is because you are not good enough. These sentences repeat in your mind like a fixed recording and to make you believe that you are never enough. Strangely, you are usually kinder to others than to yourself. And if a friend fails, you encourage them to keep going. If they make a mistake, You tell them that everything will be fine. If they are afraid, you remind them that everyone has weak moments. But when you fall, you use the harshest words on yourself. The Stoics did not treat themselves that way. Seneca said that you should treat yourself like a student who is learning, not someone who deserves constant blame. The mind needs guidance, not yelling. You cannot grow in an inner environment that is full of pressure. You only grow when your mind feels guided and calm. A good teacher does not paralyze students with fear of making mistakes. A good teacher helps students see clearly what went wrong and how to fix it. You need to become that kind of teacher for yourself. Your inner voice must be a guiding voice, not a voice that kills your motivation. Think of a familiar situation. You are trying to finish some work and you make a small error. Your mind immediately reacts with a harsh insult. That sentence does not help you correct the mistake. It only makes you lose your composure. A teacher would not talk like that. A teacher would say that mistakes are normal and that you simply need to correct them step by step. Or when you are training your body, there are days you skip a workout because you are tired or busy. Instead of saying that you lack discipline, tell yourself that you will come back tomorrow. One sentence lifts you up, one sentence pushes you down. You must choose the sentence that helps you continue, not the one that makes you quit. The voice of a critic creates pressure. The voice of a teacher creates direction. Pressure freezes you. Direction moves you forward. The difference lies in how you talk to yourself at your weakest moments. In modern life, this also appears when you compare yourself to others. Your mind creates the sentence that you are behind or less than them. If you believe that sentence, you lose motivation. But if you use the voice of a teacher, you will focus on your potential to grow. A teacher would say that you have your own path and that every step on that path matters. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul is nourished by gentle and clear thoughts. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. A strong mind is not a mind that is always harsh. A strong mind is a mind that knows how to choose language, that returns it to a calm state so it can keep acting. People who have mental discipline use a simple technique. When they make a mistake, they do not say, "I am terrible." They say, "I need to pay more attention to this part." When they fail, they do not say, "I have no ability." They say, "I am learning one more lesson." This way of speaking creates patience and mental endurance. No real growth can happen in an inner environment full of criticism. If you want to become stronger, you must change your inner tone. You must speak softly but clearly. You must be direct but not cruel. You must use words that pull you forward, not crush you. A strong warrior is not someone who never makes mistakes. A strong warrior is someone who can face mistakes with clarity and direction. Do a micro action right now. Think of something you recently blamed yourself for. Now change the way you speak about it. Talk to yourself with the voice of a teacher. The teacher's voice does not make you weaker. The teacher's voice helps you keep moving. You will feel the difference immediately. You can ask yourself this question: if I were my own coach right now, what would I say to myself? That answer is the right path. That answer is the voice you must train every day. When you keep that voice, your mind becomes calmer. Your actions become clearer. Your motivation becomes more stable. To close this rule, write down one powerful affirmation to reshape your inner voice. I speak to myself with clarity and wisdom. Rule number 5. Choose warrior language instead of victim language. In every difficult moment, you always have 2 types of language to choose from. One type makes you shrink. The other makes you stand tall. One is the language of a victim. The other is the language of a warrior. Victim language always asks, "Why is this happening to me?" Warrior language asks, "How will I become stronger after this experience?" Victim language sees obstacles. Warrior language sees training opportunities, and victim language makes you weak. Warrior language makes you clear and steady. The Stoics always chose warrior language. They did not see difficulty as punishment. They saw it as an assignment from fate. They did not ask, "Why do I have to endure this?" They asked, "What can I learn from this?" Marcus Aurelius reminded us that what matters is not what happens, but which response you choose. The response begins with the sentence you say inside your head. One sentence can open a path. One sentence can block a path. The choice is yours. In modern life, victim language appears in many situations. When work is overwhelming, you say that you have no choice. When plans fall apart, you say that everything is against you. When others succeed, You say that they are just lucky. These sentences create the feeling that you no longer have power. You put yourself in a passive position, and when the mind is passive, your actions become slow and weak. Warrior language is completely different. When there's a lot of work, you say that this is a phase to increase your endurance. When you face difficulty, you say that this is a chance to build persistence. When others move ahead, you say that this is inspiration for you to speed up. This language makes your mind stand upright. It activates the action system instead of the complaining system. Here is an example you may recognize from your own growth journey. There are days when you feel great, and there are days when your mood drops. Low days are not the problem, but the sentence you use on those days is very important. If you say that you are going backward, your mind records failure. But if you say that this is just a low day and you will rise again, you protect your mental endurance. The same thing happens in physical training. Your body will feel tired, and your mind will suggest that you stop. If you say that you cannot continue, you will stop immediately. But if you change it to, I will finish one more repetition or one more minute, your state changes. Warrior language does not deny difficulty. It simply chooses a stronger way to face it. Seneca advised that we should not ask life to be easier, but ask for strength to move through it. That is the core spirit of this rule. When you use warrior language, you place your mind in an active mode. You do not run away. You face what is in front of you, and when you face it with clarity, you are always stronger than you think. Do a micro action right now. Think of a recent situation that made you feel stressed or exhausted. Write down the sentence you used in that moment, then rewrite it as a warrior version. Add I will or I am training to it. Just one sentence can change the entire emotion. You may ask yourself, am I lying to myself? The answer is no. Warrior language is not fake optimism. It is the way you bring your mind back to the driver's seat. It helps you look directly at the problem without adding extra layers of fear. It helps you focus on what you can do. Once you become familiar with this language, you will see that life feels very different. The challenges are still there, but they feel lighter. The workload is still there, but you handle it with more clarity. The pressure is still there, but you are not thrown into chaos. Warrior language turns you into someone who does not hand over control of life to circumstances. To close this rule, write down one affirmation to install this new pattern in your mind. I choose strength, not complaining. Rule number 6, less inner talk, more observation. One of the reasons your mind becomes chaotic is that you talk too much to yourself. Thoughts appear continuously, one after another, without a pause. You analyze every possibility, you replay every failure, you predict every scenario. In the end, your mind turns into a noisy place where you cannot hear what you truly want. The Stoics understood that inner noise is a root cause of anxiety. When the inner voice is too loud, you are easily pulled into unnecessary emotions. You react faster than you should, you lose the ability to observe situations clearly, and when you lack observation, you often make the wrong decisions. Epictetus said that the strong person is the one who can keep inner silence. Silence here does not mean killing all thoughts. Silence means you are not swept away by them. You let thoughts pass naturally. You observe without reacting too quickly. You do not try to block them, and you do not try to push them away. You stand in the center and watch everything move through. In modern life, information overload makes your mind work nonstop. You watch news all the time. You scroll on your phone for hours. You compare yourself to others without even noticing it. All of this makes the voice in your head louder and louder, and when that voice grows, your ability to observe shrinks. Observation is the tool of a warrior. A warrior does not react before observing. A warrior looks at the environment. A warrior feels the state of the body. A warrior evaluates the situation with calm. A quieter mind allows you to do this. Think of a moment when you were stressed at work. If you let your mind speak freely, it will fire off many sentences. I cannot finish on time. I will mess this up. I am under too much pressure. These lines add to your exhaustion. But if you pause for 1 minute and simply observe your breathing, your heart rate slows down, your body relaxes, your mind becomes less tangled, and you see the problem more clearly. The Stoics had a very powerful skill. When a strong emotion arose, they did not react immediately. They observed the emotion like a wave. The wave rises, but it will fall. The emotion comes, but it will go. When you watch it, you do not become it. You keep enough distance so you are not dragged under. Another example is conversation. When someone says something harsh, your mind wants to react instantly. You want to defend yourself. You want to strike back. But reactions that are too fast usually create bad outcomes. If you observe for 2 seconds before you speak, you will see what is truly needed. You respond with wisdom, not with impulsive emotion. People with mental discipline understand that silence is the space where wisdom works. When the mind is too loud, wisdom is covered up. When the mind is quiet, wisdom becomes clear. That is why they intentionally reduce the amount of inner talk. They set aside time for observation of the body, observation of the breath, observation of the situation, observation of their own reactions. One very effective micro action you can do right now is to give yourself 1 minute of silence. No talking in your head, no forced thinking, only feeling the air going in and out, only observing sensations in your body. When you do this for 1 minute at a time, several times a day, your mind slowly becomes lighter and cleaner. Calm starts to feel like a natural state. And many people believe that silence is avoidance, but the right kind of silence is preparation. It gives you time to choose the right response. It gives you clarity. It keeps you from getting dragged into unnecessary drama. Strong people are not the ones who always speak. Strong people are the ones who know when to speak and when to stay still. You also need to ask yourself one important question. Is the voice in my head helping me move forward or pulling me down? If the answer is that it is pulling you down, you must step out of it. You need to replace the voice with observation. When you observe, you return to the position of inner commander. This rule helps you build a solid mental foundation. Less talk, more observation, slower reactions so that your actions can be more accurate. A quiet mind is a strong mind. Observation is what helps you stand firm in any situation. To reinforce this rule, write down one affirmation in the comments. I command the calm within me. Rule number 7, set limits on self-blame. There's a quiet kind of pain that many people carry every day. It is the habit of blaming themselves too much. You make a small mistake, and your mind turns it into a huge failure. You did something wrong in the past, and your mind repeats it like a life sentence that never ends. You try very hard, but if you slip once, your mind says that you do not deserve success. The pain is not in the mistake, the pain is in the long, drawn-out self-punishment. You do not allow yourself to stand up. You keep yourself in regret, and regret that lasts too long slowly destroys your confidence. The Stoics understood that no one is free from mistakes, no one walks in a straight line from the beginning, no one is perfect in the journey of growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you must forgive yourself with intelligence, because if you do not forgive yourself, you cannot take the next action. Forgiveness is not hiding from responsibility. Forgiveness is how you open the path forward. If you lock your mind in blame, your actions will be blocked. If you set limits, you create space for correction. As in modern life, self-blame appears in many forms. When you fail at work, your mind says that you lack ability. When you have not reached a goal, your mind says that you are lazy. When you hurt someone, your mind says that you're a bad person. These sentences do not make you better. They only freeze you at your lowest point. The Stoics did not allow their minds to replay mistakes forever. They allowed themselves to feel, but they set clear limits. They set aside a period of time to reflect and analyze. After that time, they moved into action, and mistakes became data, not a verdict. Think about a time when you missed an opportunity. If you blame yourself for a whole week, you miss even more opportunities. But if you spend 1 hour understanding what happened and then create a plan to adjust, you turn failure into a stepping stone. What matters is not the mistake. What matters is how quickly you get back up. Another example is self-improvement. Many people start a new habit and then forget it for one day. Their mind immediately attacks them with the idea that they have no discipline. A wise person will set a limit. They admit the slip for a few minutes and then return to the habit. No real growth demands perfection. It only demands that you return again and again. Seneca wrote that you must not trap yourself in sadness. Sadness has value when you learn something from it. It becomes a burden when you hold it for too long. Strong people are not those who never feel sad, and strong people are those who know when to stop. Setting limits on self-blame is the art of keeping the mind healthy. You acknowledge the mistake, but you do not drag it out. You look back, but you do not crush yourself. You correct through action, not through endless inner attacks. You say, the mistake ends here, and the lesson begins here. A simple micro action you can do right now is to choose one thing you have been blaming yourself for recently. Write down the reason it happened. Choose one small action you can take today to correct your direction. That action will free you from the loop of self-blame. You can also ask yourself one small but powerful question. Does this self-blame help me move forward? If the answer is no, you must stop. You must replace it with a constructive question. What do I need to do next in order to become stronger? When you set limits, you will feel lighter. Your mind is no longer held in darkness. You return to clarity. You keep your energy for what truly matters. No one grows by attacking themselves forever. People grow by correcting themselves. To close this rule, write down one affirmation to lay the first brick for intelligent self-forgiveness. I move forward. I do not punish myself. Rule number 8. Use your body to command your mind. In many situations, you believe that emotions come from thoughts, but in reality, many emotions start from the body first. When your body is tense, your mind creates negative thoughts. When your breathing is fast, your mind activates worry. When your posture collapses, your mind sends a weak signal. You think that the mind is leading, but sometimes the body is actually the starting point of the chaos. The Stoics understood that body and mind are not separate, they are one system. If the body is in disorder, the mind will be in disorder. If the body is steady, the mind will be steady. Epictetus reminded us that you must adjust both the outside and the inside if you want stability. Adjusting the body is the fastest way to bring the mind back to a strong state. We live in a time where the body is often ignored. You spend hours in front of screens, you breathe shallow without noticing, you slump forward when you are tired, you curl into yourself when you lack confidence. These things put pressure on your nervous system and lead to negative thoughts. You think that your mind is overloaded, but in reality, your body is sending the wrong signals. Look at familiar situations. When you are stressed at work, your shoulders rise and your back rounds. Your body goes into defense mode. Immediately, your mind reacts with anxiety. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your heart rate increases. You feel as if everything is beyond your capacity, but it all began with the body. On the other hand, when you stand tall and open your shoulders, your mind receives a different signal. It activates alertness. It creates a sense of control. It helps you become calmer. And posture changes thoughts. Thoughts change actions. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that you must begin with what is in your control. The body is always in your control. You can adjust it immediately, and when you do that, your mind will change with it. You know, in modern life, this is especially important. When you are stressed, you hold your phone close to your face, raise your shoulders, and drop your head. That posture pushes your nervous system into a tense mode. But if you put the phone down, straighten your back, and breathe deeply, your feeling shifts in just a few seconds. You do not need complex philosophy. You just need to change the position of your body. When you find yourself overthinking, pay attention to your breathing. Shallow breathing creates anxiety. Deep breathing creates calm. The Stoics often used the breath to regulate themselves. When emotions rose, they inhaled slowly and exhaled longer. When the breath is steady, the mind becomes steady. Here's another example in communication. When you feel insecure, your body automatically contracts. You avoid eye contact. You lower your voice. These things make your mind believe that you're not strong enough. But if you stand firm, open your chest, and look straight ahead, your mind shifts immediately. You not only look stronger, you actually become stronger because your body has sent a new signal. People with mental discipline always know how to adjust the body before adjusting thoughts. When they face a problem, they do not let their body collapse into chaos. They stand up straight, they breathe deeply, they plant both feet firmly on the ground. They prepare the body before they prepare the mind. Body steady first, mind steady after. Do a micro action right now. Sit or stand with your back straight. Drop your shoulders, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds, repeat 3 times. Your body will return to a stable state, your mind will soften, you will see more clearly within a few dozen seconds. There is one question you should ask yourself every day. Is my posture making me stronger or making me weaker? If your body is collapsed, your mind will collapse. If your body is open, your mind will open. If your body is solid, your mind will be solid. The body is the foundation of the spirit. This rule does more than reduce anxiety. It helps you build a powerful presence. That presence is the mark of a Stoic warrior. A warrior does not wait for good emotions to act. A warrior adjusts the body first in order to create a strong state, and the mind follows the body follows the will. To close this rule, write one affirmation to honor the connection between body and mind. My body supports my mind. Rule number 9. Train the habit of fast and decisive choices. One of the quiet forces that weakens the mind is long, drawn-out hesitation. When you stand between two options, the mind creates a storm of thoughts. You overanalyze, you fear the outcome, you imagine scenarios that are not real. In the end, you feel exhausted before you do anything at all. The truth is, the longer your mind analyzes, the more motivation you lose. The longer you wait, the bigger fear becomes. The more you delay, the more you slowly destroy your own confidence. The Stoics understood this very clearly. They did not let the mind stretch out the choosing process. They decided quickly when something matched their values and their goals. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that if something is within your ability and it is the right thing to do, act immediately. Do not let the mind add extra unnecessary thinking on top. Hesitation does not bring clarity. Hesitation only brings noise. Look at modern life. You have good opportunities, but you let them pass because of hesitation. You want to start training, but you think for too long and then skip it. You want to change, but you wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment never appears. Delay kills more dreams than failure ever will. And in many cases, what you need is not more information. What you need is more determination. Fast decision-making does not mean carelessness. Fast decision-making means you know what fits you, and you act before fear takes control. The Stoics did not wait for ideal emotions to decide. They used reason. They examined what was in their control. If something was within their control, they did it. If it was not within their control, they dropped it. This approach makes the mind much clearer and much lighter. You can see this very clearly at work. Some people act quickly and often succeed earlier, not because they are more talented, but because they do not allow thoughts to stand between them and important actions. They train decision-making the way you train a muscle. They choose, act, adjust, and move on. Meanwhile, hesitant people stay in one place. Another example is relationships. When there's a problem, many people know what needs to be done, but they wait. They wait until emotions feel right. They wait until everything is perfectly clear. But the longer they wait, the more tired they become. A mature person is someone who knows how to decide in time, not because that person is absolutely certain, but because that person refuses to stay stuck in limbo. Seneca said that our time is wasted not only by others, but by our own hesitation. Hesitation is a quiet loss. It drains your focus, it drains your energy, it drains your inner peace. When you decide quickly, you cut off this loss. One micro action you can do right now is to choose one thing you have been delaying for many days. Give yourself 5 seconds to decide. No more analysis, no new thoughts added. Just choose and take the smallest first step. Your body will respond positively right away. Your mind will see that you are the commander, not a person waiting on the sidelines. There's one question you need to ask yourself every day. Is this hesitation making me stronger? If the answer is no, you must stop it. You must build a habit of choosing within a short time. Fast decisions do not make you reckless. Fast decisions help you focus on what you can control. And the person who controls their own decisions is the person who controls the direction of their life. When you train yourself to act decisively, your mind rewires itself. You become more confident, you feel less anxious, you feel stronger because you do not let thoughts linger and grow wild. Action is how you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. A person who is trustworthy to themselves grows very quickly. To close this rule, reinforce the new habit with a strong affirmation. I decide quickly and act powerfully. Rule number 10. Repeat warrior self-talk. Every morning is when your mind is at its weakest if you are not prepared. The moment you open your eyes, the mind usually runs back to old habits. If the old habit is worrying, you start the day with worry. If the old habit is fear, you start the day with fear. If the old habit is self-doubt, you start the day with low confidence, and the way you talk to yourself in the first few minutes shapes the mood of the entire day. The Stoics knew that morning is the most important moment to set direction. They did not let the mind choose the first thought on its own. They actively planted the right thought. Marcus Aurelius often began his morning by reminding himself what he could control and what he had to let go of. That was not a religious ritual. It was a ritual of mental ownership. How do your mornings look right now? You wake up and reach for your phone. You check news, scroll social media, and look at other people's lives. Within a few minutes, you are already pulled into stories that are not yours. You have not created a strong thought yet, but you have already let weak thoughts enter. That is why on many days you feel tired before you do anything at all. Morning self-talk is not about fancy words, it is about command. It is how you send a signal to your mind about the direction of the day. If you want strength, you must plan a strong sentence. If you want calm, you must plan a calm sentence. If you want discipline, you must plant a disciplined sentence. The truth is, the mind is very easy to influence in those first minutes. If you let it drift, it will pull you back into old patterns. But if you take charge, you will create a new pattern. One strong habit can change a week, a month, and a life. Think about a typical morning in a busy life. The moment you wake up, you remember a long list of things you must do. Your body is tense before it takes a deep breath. Your mind is forced into full speed before it is fully awake. That is not the way of a warrior. A warrior begins the day with intention, not with chaos. Here is another example when you are trying to build new habits. Disciplined people do not wait for inspiration to train. They tell themselves in the morning, "Today I will move forward a little more." This sentence does not create pressure, it creates direction. When the mind has direction, energy follows that direction. Seneca taught that every morning is a chance to start again, without carrying the weight of yesterday. What is past does not need to be replayed. You are not reliving the old day. You are creating a new one. And a new day must begin with new thoughts. One very powerful micro action you can do starting tomorrow is to spend 1 minute right after waking up to say one simple but powerful sentence. Today, I will be stronger than yesterday. No comparison with others, no heaviness. Just one reminder that you will keep expanding your capacity. When you repeat this every morning, it slowly becomes a pattern in your mind. Your mind will begin to adjust your behavior to match that sentence. You can also ask yourself every morning, what energy do I want my mind to run on today? If you want calm, plant a sentence that creates calm. If you want focus, plant a sentence that creates focus. If you want strength, plant a sentence that creates strength. You cannot expect a stable mind if your morning starts in chaos. This rule is simple, but it is the foundation for everything you are building. If you want to reprogram your self-talk, you must begin at the moment when your mind is most open to new instructions. First, the morning is the key. A Stoic warrior begins each day in the way he chooses, not in the way life pushes him. When you practice warrior self-talk every morning, you create an invisible force that pushes you forward. That force helps you stay firm when things get hard. You stay persistent when you act. You stay calm when life shifts around you. Your day is no longer controlled by random emotions. Your day is driven by intention. To close this rule, write one affirmation to mark the transformation of your mornings. I begin my day with strength. The moment you shift into warrior identity, at this point, you have moved through each rule, each exercise, and each Stoic principle. But the most important part is not in the theory, not in the techniques, not in the sentences you memorize. The most important part is the identity you choose for yourself right now. Everything you have heard from the beginning points to one single place, the place that decides who you become after today, the place that decides whether you are led by thoughts or you lead your thoughts, the place that decides whether you belong to the tired group or the elite group, the place that decides whether you live an ordinary life or become the strongest version of yourself. This is the moment you step across that line. The Stoics reminded us that real strength does not lie in muscles or luck. Real strength lies in who you become in each difficult moment. You cannot control the wind, the rain, crises, failure, or what others say, but you can control your character when you face those things. Marcus Aurelius said that a strong mind creates a strong life. This does not only describe a skill, it describes an identity. The identity of someone who rules their inner world. The identity of someone who is not shaken by circumstances. The identity of someone who stands firm in the middle of storms. Look back at your entire journey. You have learned to verify your thoughts. You have learned to separate from negative inner chatter. You have learned to use action instead of emotion. You have learned to speak to yourself with the voice of a teacher. You have chosen warrior language instead of complaining language. You have learned to keep inner silence. You have learned to limit self-blame. You have used your body to guide your mind. You have trained the habit of fast, decisive choices. You have learned to give your mind a strong command every morning. All of this is no longer just advice. It has become the foundation of a new self. The self is not born from luck. It is born from awareness. It is born from discipline. It is born from choice. And you are standing in a place where very few people ever stand. Because most people never enter the transformation zone. They listen but do not practice. They know but do not change. They want strength but do not train the mind. But you are different. You have reached this moment. You have proven that you belong to the group that is ready to change. You have proven that you belong to the 1% who refuse to let the old mind control their life. Imagine you are standing in front of a large door. This door opens into a completely different version of you. A version that knows how to talk to itself with strength, a version that is not dragged down by thoughts, a version that does not react by instinct, a version that acts by reason, a version that stands tall under pressure, a version that does not ask life to be easier but asks itself to become stronger. You are stepping through that door, and when you step through, you do not just apply 10 rules, you become the person who owns the 10 rules. You do not just hear about inner discipline, you become the person with inner discipline. You do not just know about Stoic warriors, you become a Stoic warrior. Look at the limits you once believed in. Those limits are not walls, they are illusions created by old habits. Your old mind used to make you doubt yourself. It used to make you feel small, but you are not that old person anymore. You are standing at the point where you reshape your entire mental nature. You are rewriting the story you tell yourself inside. You are erasing weak sentences and replacing them with strong ones. You are choosing a new identity through action, not through wishes. From this moment on, you will not say, I am weak. You will say, I am training my strength. You will not say, I am anxious. You will say, my mind is creating that feeling, but I remain steady. You will not say, I cannot do it. You will say, I will do it step by step. You will not say, I am afraid. You will say, I move forward even with fear. Warrior identity does not require perfection. Warrior identity requires that you show up every day with a clear mind. Warrior identity does not require that you know everything. Warrior identity requires that you act even when you do not know everything. Warrior identity does not require instant strength. Warrior identity requires that you train until the strength grows. This is a moment of transformation. The moment you tell your mind that you are no longer the one being dragged, you are the one who steers. You no longer speak from doubt, you speak from will. You no longer live by old reactions, you live by new principles. Take a deep breath and feel this. You are no longer standing outside the rules, you are standing inside them. You are no longer learning how to become strong, you are living in a strong state. Mark this moment with the strongest affirmation of the entire journey. I belong to the 1% who master their mind. This sentence marks the shift in your identity. From listener, you become a practitioner. From practitioner, you become master. And from master, you rise into the elite warrior version of yourself. The ritual to lock in your warrior identity, you have reached the end of the journey. Not everyone comes this far. Many people stop halfway. Many people give up before their mind has the chance to transform. But you chose to stay until the very last minute. That choice already shows very clearly which group you belong to. You are no longer a person who lets old thoughts control you. You are no longer a person who stands in the shadow of fear. You are no longer a person who repeats weak habits. You have stepped into the zone of discipline, the zone of awareness, the zone of intention, the zone of a person who owns their mind. Right now, pause for a few seconds and look back at everything you did today. You learned to verify your thoughts. You separated yourself from the old inner voice. You used action to move through emotion. You changed your inner tone from criticism to guidance. You chose warrior language instead of victim language. You created quiet space inside your mind. You learned how to limit self-blame. You used your body to lift your mind. You trained the habit of decisive choices, and you planted a strong command for every morning. All of this is no longer just information. It is proof that you have truly changed. You have stepped into the space that only 1% of people choose, and now you will lock in this new identity with the final action of this video. We'll write one final affirmation in the comments, one sentence to remind your mind that this journey does not end here. One sentence to mark this moment of transformation. Write this: I master my mind and take action every day. This sentence is not just for the comment section. This sentence is a commitment, a promise to yourself, a signal to your nervous system that you will live according to what you learned today. If this content has made you stronger, press the like button so that YouTube knows this is the kind of value you want to see more of. One small action from you creates a big push for me to keep making content that helps you train your mind in the Stoic spirit. If you have a friend, a family member, or someone who needs calm, clarity, or mental strength, share this video with them. You are not just sending a video, you are sending them a door into a stronger version of themselves. If you want to continue walking with the 1%, press subscribe. Not for the numbers, but because this community is built for people who truly want to raise their inner life. People who want discipline, people who want to live with Stoic wisdom every day, people who want a mind that stands like rock in a chaotic world. And finally, remember this: you do not need perfection to begin. You only need to begin in order to become strong. Each day, you choose one right thought, one small action, one strong sentence for yourself. You are changing the entire direction of your life. You have reached the end of the video. You have proven your consistency. You have proven your awareness. You have proven that you belong to the elite group. Keep living with this new identity and keep the strength of your mind alive in every next step. I will see you in the next Stoic Rise video, where we continue the journey of becoming the strongest version of ourselves.